Boo!
And welcome to a very special, bone-chilling edition of Comics Tuesday. And for today's Spooktacular, we're going to be talking about my top 9 creepiest comic book characters. So let's get moving. Number 9 is the Maker from Ultimate Marvel Comics. Reed Richards, as a character, is a brilliant, genius scientist caught up in an accident that gives him and his family superpowers. And he ends up going on adventures through space and other dimensions and all sorts of generally lighthearted fun stuff. But in the Ultimate Universe, a younger, less experienced Reed Richards sees all of the catastrophe and disaster happening around him, and something goes wrong in his mind. He becomes a villain. He serves as kind of the mirror image of the good old Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic that we know and love. And we get to see what would happen if he had gone the other way. And so he ultimately ends up a brilliant master planner psychopath who's stretchy. Ugh. Number 8 is Man-Thing. Now imagine you're walking alone in the middle of the night through a swamp, as you do, and all of a sudden you look up and there's Man-Thing in your face. Man-Thing not only looks like this, but also has a very special power. Those who know fear burn at the touch of the Man-Thing, which is terrifying. Number 7 is Eric Draven from The Crow. And sure, he's not a bad guy. Now, as a reader, you're likely to take his side, as I did. But he's still a ghost. So, sure, if you're not like a murderer, chances are he's not going to hurt you. But it's just the fact that you would be near a ghost who is spouting poetry while cutting himself and reading your mind. I'd be weirded out. Number 6 is Cell from Dragon Ball. Piccolo, the Saiyans, Frieza. All good, intimidating enemies. But then it's all taken a step further, because all of them are packaged together in the form of a giant insectoid, and it runs around liquefying its victims and drinking them for sustenance. And then once it's well enough nourished to achieve its perfect form, it's intelligent enough to also say mean things to you. And we all know that words can hurt, even worse than being liquefied. Number 5 is the Darkness from Top Cow Comics. Jackie Estacado was born, cursed, bonded to the Darkness. And now he's no straight up villain. He wouldn't let the earth be destroyed if he could do anything about it. You know, he runs some criminal business. Sometimes for the good of that business, he will just mess some people up. The thing is, this guy, in the dark, has near limitless power. And he's pretty creative. Number 4 is the Reverse Flash. Professor Zoom Eobard Thawne. Having traveled from the future, he is on a grudgeful mission to hurt the Flash. And in the process of doing so, he doesn't care about anyone. And he's fast enough to outrun the Flash, which also means that if he wants to take you out, you'll never see it coming. And then he just does weird stuff like this. Number 3 is Magneto from X-Men. And his mutant power is he has complete control over metals and magnetism. But he's really powerful. He is an Omega level mutant. And aside from that, he hates humanity. So all of that taken to its logical conclusion, the only thing keeping humans alive is Magneto having some hope that he can create a paradise for mutants. Whenever he's having a bad day and doesn't see that happening, he's liable to, I don't know, twist the magnetic polarity of the Earth and kill everyone. I liked Ultimatum. Number 2 is the Joker. Here's the thing, the Joker is a murderer without rhyme or reason, and many of his murders have a humorous aspect of it. And personally, I would hate to die as a part of some joke that I don't even get to see the punchline to. It's just not fair. But even worse than that, is how unpredictable the Joker is. So while you're out there dreading the day that the Joker beats you to death with a crowbar or feeds you to laughing piranhas, what's he doing? He's probably hiding under your bed, cutting his face off like a weirdo. And number 1 is Dracula, from Marvel's Tomb of Dracula. And you might at first think, what's really the harm of a vampire when you have Hulks and Galacti and Spider-Mans? But you get a pretty clear idea of what the risk is when you read the series or read various crossovers he's been in. Quickest way to sum it up is this: don't with Dracula. If you're a normal human, no powers, don't with Dracula. If you're Spider-Man, don't with Dracula. If you're the X-Men, don't with Dracula. Even if you're the Incredible Hulk, still don't with Dracula. Anything short of a team-up involving both Blade and Doctor Strange, you just stay far away from Dracula. As a matter of fact, if you were to be living in the Marvel Universe, don't worry about Galactus. Don't worry about Thanos. Your safest bet would be to walk around with a 20 or 30 foot tall symbol of your religious beliefs, carved out of a freakishly large garlic clove. Now it's time for number -1. The one that is the least creepy of the creepy. And that is Morbius, the living vampire. Michael Morbius, yeah, he's a vampire. But he's a scientifically induced vampire, not a magical one. So Dracula has no sway over him. It's really not all that spooky with an explanation. Morbius himself is brilliant and not a bad guy. So he's constantly searching for a way to cure his illness. And despite the fact that he has to feed on blood, he's more likely to just straight up ask for a donation than to actually attack a victim. So the long and the short of it is, there's really no reason to be afraid of Morbius. But that still doesn't stop Spider-Man from freaking out every time he sees him. But that just about does it. So now it's time for current comics. And what I've read this week that's pretty interesting is the Invincible storyline reboot with a question mark. And what's happened here is, through some time-traveling nonsense, Mark is reliving his earliest days as Invincible. But it's really interesting to see him carrying the knowledge of everything that's going to happen and to try to anticipate events. So we're kind of watching him with the power to shape the future. And I'm real curious where that's going to go. But that's me. What's got your attention this week? Leave it down in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and come back next time for Comics Tuesday. Next time on Comics Tuesday, I'm going to be reciting some of my favorite lines from William Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching.